Thank you for coming over. I love you. I love your work. It's great to get to meet you.
Yeah, obviously we have something quite big in common, and that's the ability to communicate with the spirits.
I literally did my first seance, which is one of the things I'm known for. I was 7 or 8 in my little suburban Los Angeles home. I stuffed towels into the doors in the hall and wanted to conjure my first spirit.
That's such an amazing topic. And what happened? Oh no.
Hi, Adrian.
Go on.
My ghost is here.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't sense
she
that
likes
yet, but really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm seeing you at a really good place in your life and who you're being, in your development, in your magic. And I really see that you are at a place of expansion, of really stepping into a crossroads now. This is who I am and this is what I'm going to do. You're stepping into your power. You're dialing it up to 11. You're a dial it up girl anyway. I know that. You're a dial it up girl anyway, but this like, whoa, this is who I am. And the sky's the limit.
I'm here today with Patti Negri, and she's kindly invited me over to her home. I think this is going to be a fascinating conversation. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about. I think it's going to be lovely.
I think so too. So thank you for coming over. I love you. I love your work. It's great to get to meet you.
Yeah,
so awesome.
I mean, I think the first question, like obviously we have something quite big in common, and that's the ability to communicate with the spirits. And for you, I just wondered, like for you personally, when did you come to realize that you had this gift? Was there a pivotal moment in your life, or? It
has honestly always been there. I remember before even school years, when I was a little kid, I remember my friends, what in modern time they go, oh, you're imaginary friends, but it's like, no, they weren't imaginary. They were real spirits. They had real information. And I think kids really can see, we're gifted, but it kind of gets taught out of us in our modern, Western, non-mystical, left brain logic society. But my mom always went, yeah, Grandma did that too. So I was obsessed with the dead. Oh, wow. And it wasn't dark or morbid. I literally did my first seance, which is one of the things I'm known for. I was 7 or 8 in my little suburban Los Angeles home. I stuffed towels into the doors in the hall and wanted to conjure my first spirit. I realized I didn't know dead people, so I'm like, Marilyn Monroe and whoever I knew at 8 years old. Yeah. And the room filled with lights and orbs and sounds, and even though I went running outside, I was jumping up and down going, this is real. And I've studied it my whole life. Science, occult science, metaphysics, philosophy, religion, and take it down to energy that it is, so you can kind of talk in any language. But it's great. It's
so amazing because I'm the polar opposite to that. And I didn't necessarily communicate with ghosts as children. I have the more you kind of unravel your experience, you look back and you go, oh, maybe I did, but it wasn't as obvious to me. I had something quite dramatic happen to me a couple of years ago, and ever since it's opened up this whole world where I can suddenly communicate and I find that very strange. And I just wonder, like, was that always with me? Was that with me in a child as some capacity? Because when I analyze it and look back, if someone goes, oh, did you see ghosts as children? I would say no. And then the more I think about it, there could have been things that I was a weird child by most people's standards. I saw things, but I didn't really know what it was. So for me, it's very different. I didn't say I was doing seances age 7. So I feel like it's kind of strange for it to come into my life. And that's why I love meeting people like you, because I'm still trying to learn about it. And I feel like I see things when I don't necessarily want to, and then sometimes if I'm trying to, I can't. So
that's an easy fix. I can help you with that. You have to come up with an on-off switch, and then you get fancy with it. Then you have like a little dimmer switch. When I was a kid, I used to walk around with my thumbs in my hands, and everybody made fun of me. That was my off switch. I don't have to do that anymore because I don't want to go to the grocery store and be like, Long Island medium, your mother wants to talk to you. I just want to go to the grocery store and go to the grocery store when I want it on and on. So it's all about intent, and it's all about kind of cloaking and doing. Because I'm sure you always had it, because you're super sensitive and sensorial. I can see it. Yeah. All your senses are heightened, right? How you're affected by color and smell and sight and taste and everything.
Yeah, that's what I had. Like when I was growing up, that's exactly what I had. Yeah. I was like, everyone's like, oh, you're so sensitive. Yeah. You feel everything. And when something upsets you, it upsets you for days and days and days.
You're an empath.
And you can't forget it. I still remember things that people said to me when I was a child. And it's like, you probably really shouldn't be remembering these sort of things, but it sticks with you and you can't shake it. And that's what I had growing up.
Yeah, so I think you're just as gifted. Again, just didn't focus there or didn't think about it, which is fine. So, but I love that besides the fact that we both see the other side, we're both into the paranormal too. Were you into the paranormal before your gift was given to you, or your gift and then the paranormal?
I got into the paranormal. I didn't do things like ghost hunting or going to paranormal locations until I realized I could see the day. And that's what's opened up my mind to it, because I'm like, oh, I need to explore. I need to see. The other thing as well, like I'll go to some haunted locations and I'll have very intense experiences. And sometimes not, but then also I can have quite impacting experiences in odd places, like on an aeroplane or in a supermarket. And sometimes I will meet a person and I will know a lot about them. When I meet someone, I always know how the relationship's going to end and what's going to happen in that relationship and whether they're going to hurt me or whether they're going to affect me. I speak to a lot of people about this, and someone said, oh, but then that means because you know your actions are dictating.
It's like self-fulfilling prophecy. You live into it.
Yeah. So that's a weird thing as well. Because sometimes I meet someone, I'll be like, oh, there's something weird here and I don't like you and I don't like something about you. And it's like, this is intense. And it's like, I can't even get on with them. It's that bad.
And that's okay. Listen to your intuition. Because again, you've got a good intuition. You're empath. It could be a past life thing. I believe it could be a lot of reasons. But sometimes, again, my witch side trumps my psychic side. Okay. Because there's these life paths. I think we dance between destiny and fate and free will. And so say you meet somebody and you don't like them right off. If it's a serious thing, take it. But if it's like, it's going to end, I'm going to get my heart broken, change your story. And then you could change your life. How you live into it will be different. That's what I teach. Like a psychic told me when I was a kid that I was going to have all these female health problems, of which I did. She told me I was going to have 3 husbands, of which I have. All this stuff. I look back, had I read myself at that time when I was this little kid, I would have said, you could have these health issues, but you could nip it in the bud. There's a good chance that you have 3 husbands, but you could skip the first 2 if you don't marry somebody who's like your daddy or something like that. And like, oh, so that we do have more direction over things in some things. And it's just that intuition of knowing the difference.
It's kind of interesting because it's like you said, if someone told you very early on that you're going to have 3 husbands, maybe that made you let them go, but you know,
exactly.
So it's kind of like
we do that.
Yeah.
So we completely you would never say you're going to go get hit by a bus on Tuesday, because that person's going to go out there and find a bus to get hit by because out of the fear. And we know we attract what we resist. We attract what we fear. It's just the law of attraction working on the backside.
It's so fun. I could literally speak about this for days and days and days. This is your profession now. Yeah. You do readings for people, and I'm obviously not at that stage yet, and I don't know if that's the path for me, to be honest. But can you always read a person, no matter what? Because do you see what I mean? There's a pressure there, which that would scare me. Because what if someone walks in and I get scared all the time, like especially if like television, like of Ghost Adventures or another show. It's like, I don't know where I'm going. They won't let me know. And they expect me to go in and say who died in this room and what happened here. Yeah. And I'm always like, what if I get crickets? But again, the places are so vetted. But I think that's me seeing energy the way I have. I see the cords. I see the connection. I've developed literally how to lift the veil between the worlds. So if you're at a place that doesn't have a lot of spirits, or if you're reading somebody and whether they're blocked consciously or not consciously, you can kind of soften that veil between energetically using intent, using sound, using herbs, using oils, using just magical properties to do it. So then you get really popular because you make sure ghosts are always there. Yeah. Come on in, guys. Because I firmly believe, since I was this little kid, this is our realm of existence. That this 3-dimensional, corporeal, gravity held down, this is our world. And they visit our world. And
but we don't know that. So people give up their power. When you see somebody getting insanely possessed, whatever, unless they're doing it on purpose, I might do it on purpose, you might do it on purpose, and you know what you're doing. But they've allowed that to happen. They've given away their power. Unless you have a severe addiction problem or a severe mental imbalance, then you don't have all the control. But regular people, if something comes in you don't like, go, no, in the name of whoever, whatever you believe in the name of myself, no. And guess what? They have to listen. It's with your confirmation, your intent.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because when I first started to have quite intense paranormal activity happen to me, I felt very out of control and very scared of it. And I felt like I could do nothing to stop that. I felt like almost like a passenger, like this is something that is happening to me and I'm going to have to go along with it. And wherever that takes me, let it take me because there's a purpose for this. And I was scared sometimes. And I've kind of reached the stage now where I've stopped becoming scared. And it started to, the fact that I'm no longer scared means that things aren't as intense. Does that make sense? So do you believe that spirits try to grab your attention in that way, perhaps?
Yeah, they can, because fear is an energy. Again, fear can do a couple things. They can freeze you. They can make you not live the life you want to live. They can make you catatonic. I'm afraid to not make that phone call, to not live that life you want. Or fear's $1 million industry that we're both sort of in. People pay money to get scared, watch spooky stuff, scary movies, ride roller coasters. So why not take that same adrenaline fear high and turn it into a positive than a negative? And yes, spirits do feed on that. So if you do reach a negative spirit, they want you to scare. They want you to get angry and all that to feed off that. But if you still, like, if you're not as scared, you're not as afraid. You're probably not giving it as much energy. So just turn that into excitement, challenge, whatever. And it's just energy. It's how you direct it.
I thought about this a lot, and I feel like sometimes if a spirit is trying to get your attention and you're blocking it out and you're saying, no, 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 go away, it's like a little child, isn't it? Like they will try and get your attention harder and harder and harder by throwing things at you, by screaming, by kicking. And that's how I likened it to like spirits. Like if I was like, go away, I don't want to hear what you've got to say. If I'm trying to close it down and close them off and they really want to kind of communicate with me, then that's how I learned to understand that. Be it, that was my way, be it right or wrong. I suppose there's no right or wrong.
There is no right, there is no wrong. And everybody's right and wrong is different. But no, it is true. And it is like kids try. But again, that's about boundaries and boundaries that we have with living people, boundaries we have with spirits. And again, you can make that child finally be quiet, go to your room or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But I think there's no hard and fast rule because I think it is a dance. It's a dance between our world and there. It's a dance between free will and destiny and all the fate and all that stuff. So we can't drive everything. So that's what makes it fun.
I don't watch a lot of ghost hunting shows or things like that just because, specifically if I'm going to a particular location, obviously in the age of internet, you can't say I know nothing about this place because it's unrealistic. But I find it, I don't know, I find it quite weird when you watch other people's encounters because somehow you're looking for the ghost of Mary because Mary died here, and that seems inauthentic. But do you find the pressure on you? Do you ever, because in these sort of ghost hunting shows, they want to see something happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a TV show if nothing happens. If everyone walks into the room and it's like, no ghosts here, don't feel anything, don't sense anything, nothing, then the TV show is quite dull. But do you ever feel the pressure that you have to see something, or you have to see Mary, or or whoever the resident ghost might be?
Well, I'm like you. I don't want to know that Mary is there. I don't want. But that gets your left brain, your logical brain. I got to find a Mary. There's a Mary. There's a Mary, and that takes you out your intuitive, your right brain. So yes, of course they want TV. Yes, they want drama, but I've never had to fake or feel that pressure. Yeah. Again, the shows that I've done, and not that there isn't other ones, it's like, if I do know about Mary, they will not have me do an investigation or a seance. Yeah. They maybe will stand outside and go, I experienced Mary here, but especially Ghost Adventures, I must say, they don't want anything to be reenacted. If they do a reenactment, that's a reenactment. Yeah. They don't want anything like, I know Mary is there. Yeah. so that is why I do get scared going, what if I get crickets? What if I don't know what happened here?
Yeah.
But again, those places, they really check out their locations in advance. Okay, there's 12 people dead here or whatever.
Yeah.
But
So
it's always scary. Every single time it's scary because
Yeah.
you don't know. You can't guarantee a ghost encounter at all.
But I also feel like a lot of I'm sure this happens to you. This is why I'm saying it. But people always want information that I don't have. Like people always try to test you, and they always say, "Oh, when did Mary die? How old was she when she died?" And they want very specific information. Yeah. And sometimes often when I communicate with ghosts, the first thing I pick up is an emotion. That's what I tune into first. Like, is someone crying? Is someone sobbing? Is someone in pain? Like, sometimes I can feel the pain. And people are like, what's their name? When did they die? And I'm like, well, hold on, because what I can actually genuinely feel is that someone's crying and calling out for someone, for an example. Oh, but when did they die? And I'm like, well, that's not what I'm seeing right now. So
right.
It's
so,
like,
you just get, there's people who want to test you. What's her middle name? I don't know.
Yeah.
I am fine going, I don't know. I'm not getting that. What I am getting is that. She's crying. And that's all you have to do. So let go of that pressure. People just try to test you, whether, especially if you're around a seance table or do mediumship or even one-on-one. It's like, I don't know. And I'm happy to say that. But that's where I kind of like, if you're not getting it, that's when I will bring in a Ouija board or a spirit board or even some of the modern technology. I have these crystal balls that are kind of like an ovulus inside. Well, I don't know what your name is, but you tell me. Okay, it's Fred.
It seems so obvious, this to me, but I think talking with ghosts and community is the exact same as talking to people. You know, they don't walk up to you in the street and go, hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. You know, sometimes you'll bump into someone at the grocery counter and they'll talk to you about milk, or they'll talk to you about, oh, my leg hurts, or do you know what I mean? They're not going to announce their CV.
Yeah, they're not going to immediately go in how they died.
Yeah.
You know why? Why was,
Yeah, because someone said to me the other day, do ghosts even realize that they're dead? Like, do they know that they've died? Or do they, and that's quite, there's so many, people ask the maddest questions. And it's also another one which I found quite funny. And I do look at ghost talk with a little bit of humor, because I think you have to.
You have to.
I have a sense of humor about it, and I will laugh along with people and their funny questions, and I'll humor them, and I think you have to, else you'll go crazy. But the other one was, do you think ghosts, okay, this is an interesting one, when someone passes away, you know, when people see ghosts, they're always wearing a Victorian dress or a white gown. Do you think ghosts die in what they were wearing, or are they remembered in their happy outfit? Or
that is a great question. That is a good question.
And I don't know the answer myself.
It is so funny. The lady in the white dress. Really, did you put on your white dress because you need to make an appearance over here? I think that they can shapeshift a little. Number one, I don't think there's time and space on the other side. I don't. So past, present, future can squish. They could be reincarnated in the grave and then showing up in a white dress.
Yeah.
And I also think sometimes they'll show themselves, like if they liked getting old, they'll show themselves as grandma. If they're like, getting old really sucked, they're going to show themselves in their 1950s too, you know. But I think we see kind of see-through, we see opaque, even the best of us, but we're going to start seeing what we know to see. So there's psychology-wise, if you don't know what a Frankenstein monster looks like, you're never going to see it. If you've seen a picture, now you're going to see it. Yeah. So we picture the Victorian ghost. So we're going to almost manifest that, and they're going to manifest it with us.
Yeah. Like someone said to me, oh, why do you never see someone like naked holding a toothbrush? Like, why is it always this romanticized, beautiful, like Victorian period person in a huge hat? Like, why is it never like some person holding their toothbrush because they died, got struck down by lightning brushing their teeth? And it's like, well, I mean, I guess people do see spirits like that, but
they do. But again, we're not going to because we're looking for something else. We're always going to kind of see what you look for. Again, that's part how our brain creates and brain works, and that's part psychology. And I think it's also part of what the ghost, if he died in his toothbrush sitting on the toilet or something, he's going to get up.
And put on something to be remembered nicely. That's how I like to think of it. Like, you kind of want to be remembered as your best version of yourself, I guess. So, but people sometimes say if you die as a child, then you're remembered as a child. Well, you haven't grown up, so you can't be remembered. Yeah, it just blows my mind, all of these questions that people ask sometimes.
These are great questions because it's unknown, even to most of us who visit and talk to them. And yeah, children, but I have seen spirits kind of grow. Like if there's two twins and one died at birth or soon after, that twin seems to grow up with the other. I've also noticed, you know how many that you see toddlers, little kids. Yes, lots of little kids died, especially in the olden days, but there's more little kids. I think when somebody dies, even in utero, say they had a miscarriage or an abortion, or they stillbirth, or even they died anywhere in that infancy, they're going to show themselves as a toddler.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, how do you be a fetus? You don't be a fetus, and that ghost fetus. I think if there was a spirit there, and there is a spirit there, they're going to get themselves to an older place where they could at least have thought pattern and movement.
Yeah. And someone said to me the other day that it also reverse-wise. Say someone died at age 80, but they loved being a child. That was when they were most happy. Do you believe that people can manifest their spirit form in a reverse way like that? Say like passed away tomorrow, and the time that I loved most was being a child because I was free and carefree. Do you think spirits can present themselves in that way?
I mean, I've never seen it as a child, but who knows? Maybe I have to. But I think that philosophy and belief system works for the baby who becomes a toddler, or the person who died at 80, but he wants to show himself as the 39-year-old that he liked much better. I think, again, if there's not time and space, and again, they can manifest. I don't think they have to go to their wardrobe and change that out. It's just, this is how they're going to appear to us.
Yeah, it's such an amazing topic. And what happened? Oh no.
Hi, Adrienne.
Go on.
My ghost is here.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't sense that yet, but really? Yeah. Okay. When I was sitting in the car on the way here, and I haven't felt it, so I'm not just going to say it because you said it, but when I was sitting in the car, I imagined that your house was haunted by a female. I haven't felt it before, and obviously you've said that, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it is, and haunted by a female, and she was French, so she likes anybody from across the pond, so to speak, and she does. Okay. I brought a French crew here once, and she became a giddy schoolgirl. It was hysterical. Yeah. But yeah, she came with the house. She is great. Okay. She's very protective. She likes roses. She will I got married here literally like 20 years ago, she was shooting roses out of my bouquet. And the neighbors, because it's a very close-knit neighborhood, they were going, "Oh, that's Adrienne." I'm like, "Who? What?" They go, "Oh yeah, she used to sing La Vie en Rose. She liked roses." And we have roses for Adrienne. Yeah. Everybody knew it was her. And so she plays the drums all the time on a shelf that you couldn't reach if you were a giant.
Oh, so they just start kind of banging.
I mean, I could bring over one of my talking boxes, crystal balls, any of that. It's like, she's good. It's good to have a nice, friendly spirit. Yeah. And not good to have a not friendly spirit.
No. And obviously you're so at peace and so used to that world. So living in a house that's haunted doesn't bother you at all. Do you find that it protective in some ways? She's super protective. Yes, she gets cranky though. She was like she was an artist. Once years ago we had a flood. It's like pipes broke, flood. We had to move out for like 3 or 4 months. Okay. She was not happy. When we moved back in downstairs in the guest room, we have these 5 framed pictures. One of them is my husband and myself. She is in one of them, and like my parents, my husband's parents, stuff like that. And I walk in, and it was just a white picture with the brown frame. And like the picture of my husband and I were gone. Okay. But the frame was up. I looked, the picture was on the floor, but the frame was completely intact. It was closed up. She could not have gotten out. There was glass on the front, and it was literally taped and closed on the back. She was angry at us for leaving her with all those construction workers. It's she lets us know what's what. Smoke, puffs of smoke. Again, she will talk through whether Ouija boards or volvuluses or things like that. It's kind of funny. Since you mentioned her, and I couldn't sense her, I'll be honest, I'm not going to say that I sensed, but I feel a little bit dizzy and like here. Yeah. So I have a headache now. Okay.
Let it go of the headache. I call it, yes. And the dizzy to me is a common thing. Again, when the veil is thin, it's like when you're in an airplane or you're underwater and the pressure is different. When the veil is lifted, the pressure is different. That's how it is. This is our crown of illumination. I think we're going to feel everything here. Number one, our 5 senses are here: seeing, smelling, tasting, and our 6th sense, our 3rd eye right here, and the portal on the back of our necks, which is the biggest portal right here. So even when you see old-fashioned pictures of holy people in every belief system, the glow around your head, this is so you're going to feel it here.
Yeah.
But
don't you feel like, you might not have known, I just feel like I'm just going like this at you a little bit now.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of like a bit glazy.
Welcome to my house.
Yeah, a little bit glazy, but
Yeah.
has she been known to follow people or do anything like that?
No,
like, she's just gonna stay
the
here.
only thing she followed was he's French, Monsieur Pope. He's a comedian, a French actor comedian.
Okay.
She followed him to the Hollywood Roosevelt because she had a crush on him.
Okay.
She did. But other than that, no, she doesn't follow. And again, she's super protective of us. She's not going to leave us. She watches the dog. She watches the cat. I brought in a haunted doll. She did not like Belle at first. Like, what are you bringing in this?
You're
spirit?
actually
bringing?
scaring me a little bit now because before
you knew.
I was just about to ask you about haunted dolls, and as soon I thought it, and it came out of your mouth.
See?
Like
That's you.
Yeah, it's odd because you think when you're talking to someone, you kind of something will trigger you, and as soon as I thought doll and something. And then you said doll, and I was like, okay, this is getting a bit weird now.
Yeah, see? You're intuitive. You're psychic. That's what it is. And again, since the veil is so thin here, you're going to be extra heightened because it all depends on the location that you are, how open it is. So yeah, I have a haunted doll, and at first Adrian and the dog and cat didn't like her, and then they all warmed up, and now they're all best friends. But she's not going anywhere, to my knowledge. She just likes it here. Yeah. I have her art all over the house. I have the pottery she made in the 60s. I have her photos. It's like a little shrine to this beautiful woman who lived here long before I did.
It's pretty cool. And I was going to ask you about haunted dolls and haunted objects. Why do you believe that some spirits will sort of attract themselves into objects and sort of take on that?
Well, if you're a disembodied spirit, I have a book on haunted dolls coming out for called Dollcraft, Haunted Dolls and Magical Puppets, How to Make Your Own. But if you were, say, a disembodied spirit and you wanted to look to something to land, you could pick a candle holder, but why pick a candle holder if you could pick something with eyes and a nose and a mouth?
Yeah, that's the exact theory that I have, because it embodies almost a person.
Again, and then you could see, like, my doll, Belle, it's a porcelain 100-year-old face. It doesn't really move, but everybody can tell her mood. 3 people in a row will say she's extra happy today. 3 people in a row, she's extra cranky. Because energetically, a face is a face. So you can whisper in the ears and look in the eyes, and you literally see them move energetically.
Yeah, it's weird as well, because I find a lot of people, when they talk about spirits, and especially when they talk about haunted dolls or haunted objects, the word "they're trapped" always comes up. They're trapped. They're stuck in. That's why they're unhappy. Do you believe ghosts? I don't believe that ghosts are really trapped.
No
beings.
I don't.
I don't believe that kind of whole thing where ghost is trapped and troubled and.
I don't either. I mean, occasionally there can be something trapped and stuck. I call those shades, those ones that maybe don't know they're dead or just something violent or unexpected. And they're the ones, literally, you cross over, go to the light, Caroline, go to the light. And I've done it, and everybody in the room felt that exact moment. I think they hang out there because they can. Again, if there's no time and space on the other side, you could be in the past and in the future and reincarnated and everything else. Even the ones, because in paranormal we go to the spooky places like the prisons and the asylums. Yeah. I honestly think they hang out there on choice because that's the world they knew. So again, if you spent 50 years in a prison yard and it's your friends, you're not being tortured anymore, hopefully, and you are. There is a few places that they're being held down. The Cecil Hotel in here in LA, sneak by it if you can, but they won't let you in, but sneak in. Just saying. There is some created spirit, more than just a ghost or even not demonic, something so created by all the negativity that is affecting the dead, holding dead, and affecting the living.
That's the one place that actually, and you've mentioned it, and I've got, that's the one place horrible. I really don't want to go near, and I don't know what that is. I mean,
it's the darkest place I've ever been.
Yeah.
When I had never been there, and I've probably been there more than anybody. I did a Ghost Adventure special there. I did a TFI overnight special there. I did a CW show. And I didn't know where I was going. And Zach said, show up. Just never tells me where I'm going. I just had an address. But walking up to it, by the time I got to the door, I was so depressed I wanted to kill myself. That's not me. I'm just positive.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to die. I'm hopeless. I want to kill myself. It takes you over. A rat didn't want to let me in. Usually rats scutter away. This rat was trying to keep me from going in. Every room we walk by is just more depressing.
It's the one place which makes me feel sick thinking about going there. And it's often suggested, never tried to go there. And you say that they don't like it. But it just feels like, it really just makes me feel, and I've been to haunted prisons, I've been to all of those places, but there's something about that place that makes me feel a bit ill.
You're right on 100%. It totally made me sick, totally. And again, I think it's a combination of, it's a perfect storm of evil negativity and everything else, and depression, and I think the land is charged downtown LA. Under it, there's a swath of land, probably Native American ground, everything else. My desire is I wish I could gather every spiritual person, priest, rabbi, witch, shaman, Reiki master, I don't care. Everybody hold hands and do some big kumbaya cleaning around it. They would never let us do that. But one day at 2 a.m., I'm going to sneak in there with everybody I know.
I mean, wait, it's not, is it still a hotel or is it?
Sadly, what they're doing now, good idea. It is downtown Skid Row where there's lots of homeless people. 700 empty rooms, more than 700 homeless. They're moving in homeless and low income.
Okay.
But if it makes me, a relatively sane, well-adjusted person, want to kill myself, these people who do have addiction problems, mental imbalance, you get PTSD, just are moving in. They don't even want to move in. They're already jumping out the windows. There's ambulances every day.
Yeah, and people will say, well, no, but they already had mental problems. But there's something more.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
So it's for sale. I don't think that's working. It's probably different now. It's been a while. When I was there, out of the 700 rooms, only 30 people had moved in. It's like people would rather be on the street than in that place.
Yeah, which says something,
so would I.
Doesn't it? Yeah, no, that just something about it just makes me feel a bit sick, and it's. Yeah.
And it's a combination. I have a friend who lives across the street. Again, because that funky downtown, it's a high-end, expensive doorman, yet you're still in the middle of Skid Row. Yeah. I've had to clear that house several times because that dark oozes up from the sidewalk into her house. You got to keep it protected, keep it cleared.
Yeah, it's, I don't, don't think that's gonna be. Yeah, no. Yeah, even talking about it, I'm just like, no. Yeah, it's. I mean, what? You know, you said that the ground down there, like.
Well, every ground feels different. We know, like you're from the UK. Every place you go has a different energy. LA has an energy. There's these big energy vortexes, and it's actually it's in Griffith Park near the Hollywood sign. It's literally halfway in between Hollywood and Burbank, which is the entertainment capital of the world. Yeah. It's not marked, but it's this energy vortex that has literally brought in the creative people. I think that's why Hollywood isn't 50 miles this way or 50 miles that way. The artists, the dreamers, the musicians, the actors. Every time I've ever been there, there's nuns praying or lovers kissing or drummers, guitar players, and they dot all the way down to Malibu. And besides just the creative people, I literally have 7 major spiritual organizations within a half a mile of me. I have Vedanta Society, I have the Theosophy Society, Self-Realization Fellowship, Cattonia, Scientologists, all the Christians, a big monastery. It draws in, so it's a love-hate place. And downtown there is something, and it probably is, because it's very much Native American Indian ground. And I think there's some kind of water underground, and there's these ancient, not ancient like UK ancient, but ancient for us tunnels. Again, perfect storm. It was built to be a luxury hotel, and the Depression hit. It never was a luxury. It was a place of disappointment for every person who's ever had anything to do with it.
It's so funny because, I mean, obviously you travel to the UK, you do investigations in the UK, but when I come over to the USA, I don't know if you feel this the opposite way around, but obviously we do ghost hunts and ghost tours in the UK, but I feel like the amount of people that I talk to that are from LA or from Nevada, and there's something like the Nevada Triangle and things like that, that every single person has experienced something that they put down to being paranormal, whether it's aliens, skinwalkers. Yeah. In the UK, I think the average person on the street, you said, have you seen a ghost? No. Yeah. They'd go no. But there's something about this area, or that it seems maybe it's just a different mentality over here, maybe it's a different belief system, but I feel like most people have experienced some kind of, and I don't know whether that is because of the ground, or I don't know. Or
it's probably a combination of both. The difference in people, the difference in culture, and the difference of the ground.
Yeah.
You know, we're still the Wild West in so much sorts. You're talking Nevada and Arizona and California. We don't have the ancient solidity. You guys have older ghosts than us. We don't have any buildings from the 1500s or the 1200s or castles. So I get a whole different thing of ghosts. The oldest things we have are the mining towns. So you go to Vulture City or Virginia City or Nevada City or Butte. And again, then you're going to get old miners. But the energy is different everywhere it is. But now I think Ireland is supercharged energetically, but they just look at it different. It's not about haunted house, but it's getting into a whole more of the land.
Yeah. And I feel as well that it's some people's mentality in the UK, and not everyone, there's obviously ghost hunting communities, but I think there is an element that people do look at it as a bit of a joke, like you're a bit mad. And obviously for you over here, this is your career, this is your profession, this is what you do day to day, you do it on TV, you do it with private clients. Have you ever encountered people's opinions of what you do? And I mean, I'm guessing by the laugh that you have every day.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I remember the first time, the first time I saw, because you have to Google yourself once in a while.
Yeah.
And the first time
don't do that.
It was like fakepsychics.com. Like, what? I've never faked a thing. And again, the person was something like, well, why on this particular show is she always facing the right way and talking in sound bites and not what? And I mean, I just let it go. But I felt like going like, well, do you realize that we shot for 4 days to get that 44 minutes, and they just cut out all the butt shots and the messed up I can't talk today shots? But no, I know, and YouTubers can be cruel.
Yeah.
It's, you know, for all the good, like, oh my God, she is amazing. It is like, you're nuts.
Yeah, I've done various different TV shows. And it's like you said, what will happen is you will speak for several hours and hours about your experiences and why you believe what you believe. And you'll make some sort of joke, or you'll say something that is the most controversial. And of course, that's the line that gets put into the episode. And then that's also the line that every newspaper will pick up on. And it's like, well, that's true, I did say that, but the context of the whole story and the fact that this is a genuine experience for me, it's kind of like...
So I just decided to use that as a sign of success.
It's
a sign of success, because if you didn't have that kind of success, nobody would say anything or care or even know.
It's an interesting one. And I think people do, like when you say, oh, you know, for me, obviously I got married to a ghost, which even when I say it, I kind of like think, oh yeah, it did. It's a bit like, but there was quite a long period of like almost like spiritual awakening, like the first time that I saw that ghost and communicated with them. And I felt like, when I said to you earlier, like I felt like I didn't have a choice in that journey. I felt like at that time, this is few years ago when I first met Eduardo, I felt like I didn't have a choice in that journey. I felt like this is going to happen. And because I'm quite open-minded, like I'm an artist, so I'm very like, okay, well, let's go with it. I'm open. And I just thought, this is all happening for a reason. Of course, I didn't think I'm going to be in love with this ghost and live my life forever. But I thought, well, why is this series of events happening? Why is this occurring? And I felt like I had to go with it
Yeah.
at that time. That's when I was kind of scared of it because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, this is really, really weird. Why is this happening? And why is this happening to me? For ages, I was like, I need to get this spirit exercised. I don't want that in my life. I don't want to be the woman who has a ghost attachment. Like everyone thinks I'm completely weird. I don't want to be that. So I was trying for ages and ages and ages. I need to exercise that ghost. I need to get that out of my life. I need to get that out of my system. And then finally I thought, I'm going to accept this. And that's what turned it all around.
That's what does.
And it's crazy because the moment I started to accept it, the intensity of that started to diminish slightly. I don't see the ghosts that I married often. I've let it go, but I've accepted the fact that he was there for a reason. And sometimes I see it, but now when I see him in the distance. And every time I used to see him when I first met him, he looked really harrowed, like really angry and really menacing. And now when I see him, it's almost a little bit like he's smiling. So it feels like it's changed into like a sort of guardian angel.
And probably is one of your guides. But see, I think that why you had that experience part is because you are in the public eye, because you are that. I am considered an international expert on spectrophilia, which is human ghost sex. And it's been around forever. And people are afraid to talk about it. People are afraid, good and bad. Everything gets, it's the succubus or the incubus, but not everything is. I've been on a TV show in your country, Good Morning or This Morning or something. But I did a movie about it called Ghostly Lovers, a positive movie of it, because people, we do live in this prudish Western society no matter what. And so talking about ghosts, and that's not good. And talking about sex, that's not good.
Yeah.
But these people were experiencing it. So I think you had into the marriage things, or I talk about the sex and all this without it being just the crazy people. It's because there's people out there thinking they're crazy, or people out there experiencing the same thing, married to a ghost who needs to know. So that's why.
But I mean, I feel like as well, like that's the one question as well. Like you brought up like sex with ghosts and stuff. Like that is it must be people's dirty minds or something. But that's the question that everyone will always ask. Oh, sex, like what's that like? How? And it's just an energy force. Like a ghost, I think, could, because I had all of my senses triggered. Like I could smell the ghost, I could see the ghost, I could feel the ghost, and
all the clairs, clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairgustance.
And I feel like that can affect your body in different ways.
100%.
And that's the only way I would describe it. But again, it's not something I'm going to have sex with a ghost today. It's not like that. It's just another sensation or an emotion that a spirit can make you feel. And I just find it...
It's all energy. I know, but again, because that's taboo and that's forbidden, and people are curious about it. People are curious. So that's probably why you had your whole experience and I have this weird expertise that I have.
It's not like I'm thinking, I must go and sleep with a spirit. It doesn't work like that. No one's planning these things, or like...
Well, some do.
Or maybe they are. So, I haven't met anyone who's planned. But but I feel like there's a certain, you have to be quite open, I think, else you experience when you're open. So it's kind of quite fascinating. And the other thing, we've kind of gone on a tangent onto ghost sex, but the other thing I was interested in is you were saying that there's two sides, or there's probably many sides to your personality, but you were saying that there's the spiritual side where you can communicate with spirits, and then there's the conscious witchcraft side. And how do those two worlds combine, and what's the differences between those two for you?
The energy, again, I do think there's things we can't control. Where we were born, how tall we are, our eye color. I mean, we can control eye color, hair color, but basically, this is our DNA. This is what we were born. And there's things we can. I think the spirit world has always been there, but I've always believed in magic that I can direct. I don't have to go where the wind blows me here, and now I'm here. Now the wind blows me here, and now I'm here, back and forth. Sometimes I go, I'm putting up a sail or an umbrella. It's wind's blowing me here, but I'm going to go this way. To me, that's what the craft is. Witchcraft is like, like water flows downtown, and the village is down here, and you're down here. You build a dam so you could have water up here. That's that's taking fate into your own hand. You built the dam and now you have water.
Yeah.
Now, if you took away the water from the villagers, I think that's negative magic and they're going to kill you. If not heaven or hell. But if you share the water with the villagers and you get the water and they get the water, that's creating your life. Just like somebody saying, oh, you're going to have 3 husbands. I probably lived into that.
Yeah.
And it probably was literally in the cards. If somebody had, in the cards, there's a path of life. But I think we have many paths of life. We were given by whoever, God, aliens, the universe, free will. That's our trump. That's our thing. We have free will. I'm walking down this path, but I'm turning around, or I'm going to go this way. I'm going to climb a ladder instead. And that's where we can take our power and make our lives whatever we want it to be.
Yeah.
And I've done that to beyond lottery odds to going what we can do.
Yeah, I think that leads me to my final question.
Okay.
And is there anything that you, obviously we've just met today, is there anything that you sense or feel or think about me, or anything I should know, or anything that you want to tell me? Dare I ask?
That, it's all really good. I'm seeing you at a really good place in your life and who you're being, in your development, your magic. And I really see that you are at a place of expansion, of really stepping into a crossroads now. This is who I am and this is what I'm going to do. Whether career-wise, publicity, whatever that is, you're stepping into your power. And I think it's going to be... It doesn't have to be I always see roads. It doesn't have to be a straight and narrow road like this. You get to scenic route, go here and here and here, and it's going to be beautiful. So it's like, I always see dials too. It's like you're dialing it up to 11. You're a dial it up girl anyway. I know that. You're a dial it up girl anyway, but this like, whoa, this is who I am. And the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
So figure out, you're a manifestor, so figure out what you want it to look like. And that's exactly what it's going to look like.
Yeah, that's
The clearer you are.
That's quite a powerful thing, because I do feel like I finally come into myself, because when I was younger, I struggled so much with confidence, like all of those things that a lot of people do, and not actually being myself in many ways, because I was scared of what other people would think. And there's still that little part of me that worries, but I'm getting to the stage where I'm the person now who I want to be. Like, I'm kind to everyone. I work so hard. But more than that, I'm starting to accept myself, which I think has been a long road.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
and I think that's what I'm seeing energetically. So literally the sky's the limit. So it's your life is just going to take off.
Yeah.
Not that it isn't. Again, you do what you do. You have your fame, your fortune, and all that. But it's going to be like,
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. What a great way to end an interview in Hollywood. Like, making dreams come true and making things
come true. So dream big. Dream in full color.
Yeah. No, I do. So thank you so much. That's been so, I mean, I could literally sit here and talk to you for hours and hours and hours.
Forever. So we'll keep in touch beyond this.
Yeah, exactly. It was so lovely to meet you, and thank you for sharing your story and what magic means to you.
And thank you. And thank you for all you do for our world and our community as well.
Thank you
And the
very
music and magic you bring.
Thank you.